Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be doing a little Q&A while we work. I opened up a question box over on my YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and we got quite a few questions, so I'm hoping I'm able to get to all of them in this video. I do have quite a bit to do tonight, so I should be able to. So let's go ahead and get started working and jump on into the first question. Tonight I'm working on a set of baby milestones and a pregnancy announcement too. The first question I'm going to start with is not actually a question, but it was someone just asking me to tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Cassie Council. I am 31 years old. I am married to a wonderful man named Brandon. We've been married for almost 3 years now. Our anniversary is in April. We do have a little girl named Kaya, and she is our whole world, and she definitely keeps me on my toes. She is where I spend 90% of my free time is with her. She has just made our life so much fuller, so much greater, and we love her so much. We live about 20 minutes east of Dallas. I am originally from the Dallas area, but when I was in 7th grade, my family moved out to East Texas. I graduated high school and then went to college out in East Texas as well. For 2 years, I played soccer in college. That is something about me that a lot of people don't know. And then I moved back to Dallas to finish out my degree. I wanted to be a nurse since as long as I can remember. I always wanted to be a nurse. So I was actually going to school for that. And then I decided I wanted to go ahead and just kind of get my foot in the door. So I decided to go to medical assisting school just to see if I really wanted to do the medical field. And so I went to medical assisting school, graduated, and I got a job at a dermatology office. And long story short, I worked in dermatology for 10 years, you guys. So I have a wealth of knowledge that I don't ever use anymore that I like to say is from my past life, which is basically my life before being a mom. So yeah, I worked in the medical field for 10 years before I started my own business. I am also a Christian. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for all of my sins, past, present, and future. The next question is, why did you start your own business and how did you decide what to sell? I started my own business because I had just had my daughter and I was getting ready to go back to work. We weren't comfortable with taking her to any daycares or anything. My husband also works full time. So long story short, we decided I was just going to stay home with her and that would be the best thing for our family. And so with that, I have never not worked before. And it was something that I never thought of. I never thought oh, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, which is amazing. And I love it so much. But also at the time, we did still need a little bit of a second income. So I got on YouTube and I was just looking around of what do stay-at-home moms do? Is there anything that I can do from home that I could still make a little bit of money to help out my family? And so I came across Sally Shaw's video, Simply Sally, here on YouTube, and she was talking about how she started her own business and how she sells on Etsy and all that. Now, I had heard of Etsy before, but I had shopped on there a few times, but I had never thought of opening an Etsy shop. So I just started watching all of Sally's videos and everything that she does. And I was just you know what? I can do this. This was 2 o'clock in the morning one night when I was up feeding my baby. And the next day, my husband got home from work and I told him, I was I think I'm going to start my own business. I think I'm going to open an Etsy shop. And he was all in. He was okay, great. Yeah, let's do it. And I told him that I needed a Cricut to do what I wanted to do, which was make vinyl decals and stuff like that. And so he was where can we get a Cricut? And so I went that day, I went to Joann's, picked up the Cricut, got some vinyl and a few other things that I needed, and came home. And that day I cut a piece of vinyl and was I want to do this. So that is really how I started my business. That is what happened and why I did it. But when I first started selling on Etsy, I have my own website as well. So I actually opened my own website before I opened my Etsy, just a few months before. But when I started my business, I wasn't selling acrylic stuff. I was selling vinyl decals, t-shirts. I did doormats at one time. I kind of like tested and tried a few things, like trying to figure out what my thing would be because I really had no clue what I was doing, honestly. I did sell a few things, like mostly to like friends and family at first, and then once I opened my Etsy, of course, I started selling to different people who would order things from me there. But there was none of it that I was like really passionate about. So I closed my shop down in, I think it was like May, and then all the way until August, because I was just like, you know what, I need to figure out what do I want to do. I don't want to just keep selling things just to sell them. Like I really want it to be something I'm passionate about. One day last summer, one of my friends texted me asking me if I can make an acrylic sign for her wedding. And I was like, yeah, I can totally do that. Like as if I had done it a million times when I had really never worked with acrylic before or anything like that. But I made the sign for her wedding. I fell in love with the process. It looked amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my thing. I think this is my thing. And the rest is history. So I've been doing acrylics ever since, and I am so happy with my decision. The next question is, for your small business, what is your favorite product to make? I would have to say my favorite item to make right now is my arched guest book sign. I love the way these acrylic arches look, and I plan on adding more of them to my shop soon, but that's probably my favorite thing to make right now. What is the hardest thing about owning your own business? I will have to say the hardest thing is probably time. It's really hard for me sometimes to be able to come into my office and just focus on work. There are days when I can take off of work and just like not do anything. But there are other days where I really have to get into this office and I have to get some work done. And my husband is so great, honestly, helping me with that. And he really does help me to balance everything. I would not be able to do what I'm doing without him, that's for sure. I will also say that another hard thing is the taxes. This is my first year doing taxes because when I started my business back in 2020, I don't even think I made enough money to like have to file taxes because I started my business at the very end of the year. This is my first year really filing my taxes. And I have done my state taxes quarterly all of 2021. But this is my first year of doing like my IRS taxes. And y'all, I am scared, okay? I do not want to mess this up. I don't want the IRS coming knocking on my front door. And I plan on doing them myself. So I have a lot to do with that, which is probably why there might be a little bit of a lag in YouTube video uploads while I get these taxes together, okay? Next question, what is your favorite part about being a business owner? My favorite part about being a business owner is that I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And I don't have to ask anybody for time off. I don't have to worry about if somebody's going to be able to cover for me or anything like that. The freedom that comes along with owning your own business is really not like anything else. Like I said before, if I need to take some time off, like for family stuff, or if I'm just a little bit overwhelmed, I can just not do anything for that day. If I do have quite a few orders, then my husband will kind of help me like to alleviate some of that. But honestly, if I just need to take a nap and just like rest for that afternoon, I do it. Because the fastest way to burn out being a small business owner is not taking that time to rest and not taking the time for yourself when you need it. But I will say my favorite thing about being a small business owner is definitely being able to be at my house and do what I want to do when I want to do it. Highly recommend. Next question, what advice would you give for someone who wants to be a small business owner? I would tell someone who wants to be a small business owner, just go all in. If you're gonna do it, then go all in and don't have any reservations. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it because you definitely can. If I can do this, then anybody can do this, I promise. You never know what can come of it and how far it can take you. All right, we have the vinyl put onto the pregnancy announcement. The next question is, for mom life, what's your favorite quick and easy dish to make your family? It's kind of tough because my husband eats really healthy. Like he's super into working out. He's actually training for a triathlon right now. So he's like 0 carb diet. But there are a few days within the week whenever I will cook an actual meal for us instead of him just eating like his meal prep or whatever. I really do like to make these flatbread. They're barbecue chicken flatbread pizzas. They are so good, you guys. I just get a flatbread pizza crust. I put barbecue sauce, some onion, and then some chicken. And then I use the thick cut cheese. Tillamook is the brand. And then it's the mozzarella, and it's like a farmhouse style thick cut cheese. Y'all, it's so good. Pretty sure I'm gonna make that tomorrow. And then my daughter is allergic to like everything under the sun, so she has her own meals that she gets every night. She doesn't eat with us because of her allergies. We usually make her something totally different. All right, so the next question is tips for anyone starting on Etsy. I would have to say that for Etsy, really the most important thing is to just be able to stand out. Most everything you could possibly sell on Etsy is already being sold on Etsy. So for you to stand out, you have to have really great photos. You have to have really great SEO, which is search engine optimization. And tags, titles, description, all of that is so important, and you really want to spend your time to get all of that right, because if you just kind of throw a listing up and you don't really put any time into it, you're probably not going to sell very many of those, if any at all, because no one's going to be able to find you. And if they do find you and your photos aren't like up to par, or you leave a bunch of stuff out in the description, then someone might not buy from you, they'll buy from someone else because their questions are already answered in the description box, or the photo just looks a little bit better, or something like that. So I would definitely recommend going really in depth in your listing and spending a lot of time doing that. It is very time consuming, but once you do it one time, you're done with it and you don't have to worry about it again. So I would say just spending the time on listings will be the best way to stand out on Etsy and actually make sales. Okay, the next question is, do you have to file taxes if you make under a certain amount? And the answer to that is no. It depends on your state. Definitely do your own research, you guys. I live in Texas, so I know that for my state, it's if you make under $600, you don't have to file taxes for that year. But if you make over $600, then you have to file taxes. Okay, next question is, any tips on taking photos? So yes, I would say that definitely natural lighting is going to be your best bet. So if you really want to get those super bright photos, use natural lighting if you can. And then if you don't have natural lighting that day, or if like you live in a place where it's kind of rainy a lot or something like that, then I would definitely say to invest in a ring light. I have my ring light set up here. Then I also have this light. I will link it down below for you guys. I kind of have it like set up over there. Artificial lighting is key whenever you are taking photos and you don't have like natural sunlight. In my office here, I only have one window over there, and it's on like the side of the house, so I don't even get like that great of sunlight through that window. So I do use a lot of artificial lighting. Also, you don't have to invest in like a high quality camera or anything like that. Most phones these days have really good cameras on them. I know my iPhone camera is like, it's really good. So I don't even use like my big camera that I'm filming with now. I don't even use that for my product photos because I tried a couple of times and I honestly felt like my iPhone pictures looked better. So I would say just use your phone. Don't feel like you have to go out and get some nice fancy camera. Also, you want to take as many photos as you can of that item and kind of take pictures from different angles. And then also, like, you can edit your photos. I've heard some people say like, you shouldn't edit your photos because it changes the color of the item or something like that. There are ways that you can edit and like brighten the picture up without changing the color of the item. So, I mean, if you're using like different filters and things like that, which I do use, I use Lightroom to do a bunch of my editing. I have like presets on there. I usually take my pictures right over there on the end of my desk. If I have everything set up the way that I usually do it, there's a certain preset that I use on all my photos. And it doesn't change the color of anything. Everything just looks brighter. All of that to say that photos are very important. Okay, next question is, how do you balance motherhood, being a wife, and running your own business? The answer to that is not well. I feel like I am constantly in survival mode for sure, surviving and not thriving. But, you know, I just kind of have learned that I can't do everything perfectly all the time. What I mean by that is like, if I'm spending time with my daughter and let's say like a business thing comes up, I can't perfectly do both because spending time with her is like I'm focusing on her and not thinking about anything else, like playing with her, coloring with her, watching a movie, whatever we're doing. But the moment that I turn away from her and I'm looking at my phone or my computer or something like that, I'm no longer with her. I'm like sitting there with her, but I'm not like engaging with her. I was so hard on myself like in the beginning when I first started my business. And I mean, I started my business when my daughter was 3 months old. So yeah, I really dove right in on that. But when I first started, I was so hard on myself because I wanted to be able to do everything at one time. And I will say there was a moment, and this is like so transparent, we're about to get so personal right now, you guys. There was a moment that I was in our guest bedroom one night and I was just crying because I was so overwhelmed. I was trying to be super mom, super wife, and super business lady, and I was like, I mean, I was pulling my hair out, you know? So I was just in there and I was like having a moment, and my husband came in there and he was just like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And I hadn't told him that I was stressed or anything. Like, I hadn't really told him anything about how I was feeling, but he knew something was wrong with me, obviously. Like the way I kind of had been acting that day, and I was just like, I needed a moment to just like break down, you know? And I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't want this to come off as like a complaint because I am so blessed to live the life that I live. I'm so blessed to have the husband that I have, the daughter that I have, and to run this business. Like, honestly, y'all, in this YouTube channel, like, I never even thought I would have a YouTube channel, but here I am with a YouTube channel that is growing, and I have great, awesome people that follow me and are following my journey and actually care about what I'm doing and what I have to say. Like, who would have thought? So I definitely am not complaining at all, but I will tell you, in that moment, I was broken, and I was like, why did I start a business? I am so overwhelmed trying to keep this house together and trying to be this super wife and super mom. And I was just like, I needed a breather. And so what I did was I stopped everything and I just went and I like relaxed. I was like, you know what? I just need to turn everything off for a little while. And the next day I woke up and I honestly felt so much better just because I had that moment of realization of like, I can't do everything all the time. The main thing that I've had to do is get a schedule. Because if I don't have a schedule, I am all over the place, especially with having my daughter all day. My husband does work from home, so he's kind of like able to help here and there. But for the most part, she's mine from the time we wake up until 2 p.m., sometimes later. And so a lot of times, like, I just won't do business stuff while she's awake. And I only do it like while she's napping, or of course at the end of the day. But I feel like whenever I try to do business stuff and she's like awake and she's like wanting to play and things like that, I feel so bad to like have to tell her, no, baby, sorry, like mommy's trying to do something. Like, that kills me. And I do not want to do that to her, because if she needs me in that moment, even if it's just like for a hug, like, I want to be available for that. I don't want to be so wound up in everything else that I'm neglecting my child, which is honestly like, she's the number one job that I have right now. Like, she's the number one responsibility that I have right now. My business is second and she is first, and I want to always keep that in line. So yeah, I definitely tried to keep a schedule, only work when she's sleeping, and maximize that nap. Y'all, when she takes a nap, I can conquer the day. I'm telling you, when that girl takes a nap, I'm like, yes, hallelujah, let's get to work. But also with my husband, y'all, he's so sweet, y'all. He is so sweet, y'all. I will say, sometimes I have to stop and go spend some time with that man, because I can tell whenever he's like, will you come hang out with me? And I'm like, ugh, I got a lot of stuff to do. But you know what? I have to stop what I'm doing and go and spend time with him, because he works hard all day. And at the end of the day, when our baby's asleep, I know what he wants to do. He wants to hang out. He wants to snuggle, watch movies, and I want to be available for that. So If I'm able to get things done during the day, maximize that nap time, get in here as soon as my daughter goes to sleep, get in here and start working, and then also just prioritizing him over other things sometimes, which is easy because honestly the work is always going to be here. I'm always going to have orders, thank God. Like, I'm so thankful for that. I'm always going to have a video to edit. I'm always going to have things to do around the house. But if he falls asleep, I'm going to come back in here. But if he's awake, we're going to hang out. I definitely want to honor my marriage. I want to have a healthy marriage, a long-lasting marriage, and I don't want us to be always going to bed at a separate time. I feel like husband and wife should be like going to bed together sometimes, and not like daddy goes to sleep at 10 and mommy goes to sleep at 2. Like, I don't feel like that's probably healthy. So sometimes that happens. A few nights a week it's 10 and 2, but I try to more often than not go to sleep with him. But like I said before, my husband is an amazing man, and when I have a lot going on in here, like when I'm super swamped with orders, he is really good about stepping in whenever I need him to, whether it's with Kaya or like things around the house or whatever. He is really good at that. I will say this would not be possible without him because I can't do it all. I don't know how some women do it all, but I honestly am so thankful for him, and I don't know how I would do any of this without him. So love you, boo. So now we have all of the vinyl onto the baby milestones. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these over and start painting the back. The next question is, how are you liking your new paint colors? I am loving them, you guys. I'm literally going to change out all of my paint to this Valspar paint. In my last work with me video where I was reopening my Etsy shop, I talked about this paint, and I get it at Lowe's, and this is just a paint sample, so it's a 7.75 ounce paint sample, and I love all of the colors. They have so much to choose from. If you are doing acrylics, I highly recommend going to Lowe's and checking out the Valspar paint. You're gonna love it, just trust me on that. But I really like it because it is so thick and you only have to use one coat. I painted a wedding sign yesterday, and I literally only had to do one coat. It went on so nice. It looked so good. I think I'm going to go in and try to find all of the paint colors that I have in the folk art paint and try to find them in the Valspar colors. I'm pretty sure I can. It's just going to take some time kind of transitioning everything, but I really think I'm going to do that because it is such a time saver and I don't have to do 2 coats of paint. But to answer your question, I am loving all of my new paint colors and I am so excited to use them more. Here is one of my colors. This is like a blue color here. Y'all, this is so pretty. I love it so much. This is the color that I'm going to be using on the pregnancy announcement today. All right, next question. What is your biggest fear? Oh my goodness, we're getting so personal today, guys. I would have to say my biggest fear is definitely losing someone that I'm really close to. I think that's probably something that I am afraid of. When I was in 8th grade, I did lose one of my best friends in a car accident. So that was like very traumatic for me at the time. I was only 13 or 14 at the time, but I definitely like felt the pain of losing someone. And I, you know, if I was to lose someone really close to me again, it would be really, really hard, as for anyone. So I feel like that is such a fear of mine. Honestly, of course, not to be morbid, but we're all gonna die at some point. But I feel like, you know, losing someone that I love, it would be really, really hard. So that is something that I am very fearful of. I would say also I am very scared of drowning. Like your lungs filling with water. Oh my gosh, I just can't even imagine that. But there was an instance one time when I was younger. I was probably like 12 years old and we were at the lake and I was like swimming off by myself and there's no lifeguard or anything. And my sister and I had a beach ball that we were like playing with. Well, the wind blew it out into the lake and I just kept swimming for it. And I was like, I'm gonna get this beach ball. I'm not coming back until I get this beach ball. My mom's on the shore of the lake and she's screaming at me like, Cassie, get back over here. What are you doing? And I kept swimming and I got so far out and I was so tired that I was like, if I stop swimming, I'm going to drown. I have to get to this beach ball and like roll myself on top of it or else I'm just gonna die right here. So that's exactly what I did. I kept swimming and I swam so hard until I got to that dang beach ball and I rolled myself up on top of it and I was just like panting because I was so tired. And my sister actually came out there and rescued me. And yeah, that right there like showed me how fearful I was of drowning. And honestly, I am not a good swimmer either. I'm like the doggy paddle girl. So yeah, definitely drowning is another fear of mine for sure. Okay, next question. Have you ever had moments in your business where you struggled or doubted yourself? That is such a good question. I would say that yes, I have. I do wish that whenever I first started my business, I would have started with acrylics because it would have just made things a lot easier. But like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I started selling those other items to kind of like get me to where I am now, I feel like. There was actually one point in time, now that I'm thinking about it, whenever I first started my business and I had already sold like to all my friends and family. Like in the beginning, whenever you start your business and everyone wants to like buy something from you to like support your new business, I went through all of that. So everyone that I knew that wanted to support my business, they bought from me. And after that time passed, it kind of slowed down and I opened my Etsy shop in January 2021. I opened my Etsy shop and it was like crickets, y'all. It was like literally not a sale. I was so upset because I started this thing. I had put a lot into it. I wasn't getting any sales and I was looking at my husband every day and I was like, nobody wants my stuff. And I was so sad. I remember him telling me like, you'll get the orders, like, you know, you'll be fine. Don't stress about it. It was like hard for me not to, like think about it or stress about it, because whenever you put so much work into something and you put it out there for someone to like it enough to buy it and that doesn't happen, it makes you like question yourself and it makes you kind of think like, well, is my stuff not good enough or whatever? And at the time, I didn't know that much about Etsy. I didn't know much about the algorithm and all that stuff. So honestly, I was kind of just being hard on myself when I didn't need to be, because I hadn't even like really hit the algorithm yet, if that makes sense. I know it takes a little bit of time for you to really get in there. And so I was really being hard on myself during that time. So I will say yes, I have doubted myself and I have struggled a little bit. But once I really got in my groove and the orders started coming in, I haven't really felt that feeling of doubt or anything like that ever since. But if you are feeling that way, I'm assuming someone maybe asked this question because they have felt this before. I definitely will say just stick with it and don't give up. Because that time, I mean, honestly, that probably happens to everyone. There probably comes a time whenever every new business owner is just kind of getting in the swing of things and they do have that lag period when there are no sales coming in, there are no customers, and they're really kind of trying to figure out like, okay, what do I do now? I would say definitely don't give up. Keep pushing, continue adding new items to your shop. I know it's really hard to stay encouraged whenever you aren't making sales, but there is like a slow time for everything, especially like on Etsy. I feel like things go up and down all the time. So if it is one of those time periods where like things aren't really moving as fast, just don't be hard on yourself. All right, the next question is, what is something that you would tell your younger self? That's a really good question too. I would say that I would tell my younger self not to worry so much. I feel like I've spent so much of my life just worrying about things that honestly, like most of it I didn't even need to worry about because it was going to be fine in the end anyway. And so I would just tell myself not to worry so much, just live life and whatever's meant to be will be. I don't know why, but whenever I was younger, I always felt like I was doing something wrong, especially when I was at work or when it comes to like authority, like someone who was above me, like a coach or like something like that, or a boss. I always felt like I was doing something wrong and like I was making a mistake and like I was about to get yelled at or like something like that. And so I always tried to be this perfect person, I guess, and not make a mistake because I was so worried that I was making mistakes that I was like overthinking things and worrying about things I didn't need to be worried about. So I will say that I would definitely tell myself to like chill out a little bit and you're doing fine. One of my love languages is words of affirmation for sure. And so I guess when I don't get that words of affirmation or someone like patting you on the back, like telling you that you're doing a good job or they appreciate you. I would just always feel like I'm not doing a good job because someone's not appreciating me, or I must be doing something wrong. Like I have to be doing something wrong because they're not patting me on the back right now. Like they don't tell me how thankful they are for everything that I do for them. And I will tell you, I was really good at my job, my dermatology job in my other life. I was really good at my job, but I still always questioned myself. And I hate that I did that. So I would say I would definitely tell my younger self to chill out, not to worry so much. You're doing a good job. Go on a vacation and stop working so much. But yeah, I would tell myself that. Okay, next question is, how do you calculate the prices of your products? For my products, I will add everything up. All of the materials that I need, I'll add in the acrylic piece, the paint brushes, all of the shipping supplies that I use. Sometimes the cost of shipping, if it's something that I'm going to be offering free shipping on that item, then I will add that in as well. It really, honestly, the biggest thing that I would say for shipping is to kind of like look at what other people are charging, but then also do the math for each of your own items and just add everything up, all of your costs. That way you're not losing money by just kind of like trying to compete with other people. You definitely want to be making money. That's why you're running your business, of course, is to make money. But you also want to be competitive with your pricing. So if you come up with your pricing and it's like way more than everybody else, you might want to come down just a little bit. That way you can still be competitive. You want to calculate everything up. You want to take every single thing that you use, factor in your time that it's going to take you. If it takes you quite a long time to make an item, then charge a little bit more for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's something that's pretty quick and efficient, then you don't maybe have to factor in as much time for that item. The next question is, do you take days off or is it always work, work, work? Okay, so that's a really great question too. Yes, I do take days off. I definitely do take days off, you guys. I know it probably doesn't seem like it. By the way, I was talking earlier of how stressed and busy I am. But I do like to take off the weekends when I can. And I don't like shut down my shop or anything. I don't like close down. But I just like, if orders come in, I don't touch them until like Sunday night or Monday. Especially on Fridays, I like to, once I leave the post office, like, usually I'll do post office drops on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When I leave the post office on Friday, I am done. I will not go into the office and do anything else for the day. I might go and like edit a video or something on like Saturday morning or work on something YouTube related. But as far as business, I try to only do that during the week. On Sundays, I will get in the office sometimes depending on how many orders I have and try to get things going, just get my packing slips printed out, kind of look at what orders came in over the weekend and get things going that way, make sure that I have all the inventory that I need for the week and all that. But like I said, for the most part, I like to take the weekends off. But if I don't get in there on Sunday, I'm like totally fine with that. I'll just come in here Monday and do everything that I needed to do. So it really just depends on our schedule at everything. But for the most part, I do take the weekends off. And I highly recommend that you do the same. Okay, next question. Do you have any tips to grow your business? I would say just getting really good at what you're doing and other people are going to notice. Also, like growing on social media is of course really important these days. And if you can grow on social media, I highly recommend. I try to stay consistent with posting. It's so hard, you guys. I like have to pick one platform and stick with it because I just can't be on all of them. I can't do the TikTok and the Instagram. My Facebook is like whatever at this point. I mean, I use it for sure, but I don't like market through it that much. I just have my Instagram posts that post directly to it. Growing on social media is really helpful to grow your business for sure, especially if you're not using a platform like Etsy, or if you have your own website and you're trying to get traffic over to your site. Social media is going to be the number one thing for you to do. And just get on the trends, like if you're selling on Etsy, see what's trending. Add as many items to your shop as you can. That way, like the more items you have, the more opportunity that you have to sell. Definitely invest in your business. If let's say you want to start doing like screen printed t-shirts or sublimation or something like that. That can be a big investment, like buying the materials. And if you want to grow your business and you want to expand what you're doing in your product range, investing in your business is never a bad idea. If there's something that you're like, I want to do this, invest in it. Save the money if you have to. Even asking for like things, if you like, okay, I can't afford this right now, then wait till Christmas time. Have your spouse or whoever, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever you want to, say, hey everybody, can y'all pitch in for my printer that I'm going to use for sublimation? This is what I want to do for my business, and make it happen. Investing in yourself, investing in your business is never a bad idea. So I definitely recommend to do that if you're wanting to grow your business. Okay, another question is, what is your favorite part about running your own business? I think I already answered something like that. I think it was, well, what is my favorite part about owning my own business? Okay, I mean, I can still answer this one. Let's just say my favorite part about running my own business is the fact that I run it and I can do whatever I want to do with it. I can make whatever I want to make. I can literally do whatever I want to do. And I really do feel like that has helped me to keep going and just to keep like growing my business, because it's literally me that is doing everything. I'm a one-woman show here. I don't have an assistant. I don't have like anyone that comes in and helps me on the weekends. Like, I don't have any of that. I literally do it all myself. And it makes me feel really good about myself. It really gives me so much confidence when I do see my business growing and I see that, man, like, you're really running this thing like by yourself. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here and how far I can grow this thing. All right, you guys, that is all of the questions. We were able to get through all of them. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble at times. I have just a few more of these to paint. So, I will show you before we go. Pregnancy announcement. So we're all done with this one. I really love how that turned out. And then I do have the baby milestones that I've been working on here. So yeah, just getting those all painted up. I have 4 more, and then it is bedtime in the council house. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for just hanging out with me, y'all. I just really enjoy this. I really enjoy talking to you guys, getting to know you guys. Leave a comment down below if you have any additional questions. I will answer them down in the comments. And like I said before, I am so thankful to be here with you guys, to have this channel, to have this platform, to talk to you guys. I hope to continue to make content that you guys are excited about and that you want to see. If you like this type of video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That way I will know to make more videos like this. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe before you go. I will see you guys next time. Bye!